Welcome back to Nobody Tells You This About Money. Today, we're tackling something that gets so many of us. We're talking about how credit cards can take completely normal everyday spending and make it incredibly expensive. It's a subtle trap that affects millions, so let's get into it and see exactly how it works. Okay, let's just start right here with this quote because it really gets to the heart of everything. Most credit card debt doesn't start with some big, reckless shopping spree. Nope. It quietly begins with all those little purchases that feel like they don't even matter. Getting this one idea is the first huge step. And that really begs the question, right? How does a totally normal week, groceries, gas, maybe a subscription or two, somehow turn into this long-term financial weight on your shoulders? Well, to get to the bottom of it, we've got to bust a huge myth about credit card debt. This idea that it only happens to people making giant, impulsive mistakes. The real story, almost always, is found in the small stuff we do over and over again. The pressure, it usually starts so quietly. It's a lunch out when your bank account's looking a little slim, or grabbing groceries a few days before you get paid. A monthly subscription you forgot was even there. A quick ride share. See? Nothing on this list looks like a disaster. It just looks like life. And that right there is the trap. See, the purchase itself isn't the villain here. The real problem kicks in when that balance doesn't get paid off at the end of the month. That's the exact moment an ordinary purchase starts to turn into a heavy financial burden. Okay, so let's dig into how this whole thing starts to snowball. This is where those small buys begin to get really, really expensive, all thanks to the hidden cost of time. Think about it like this. That $40 dinner, in the moment, it costs 40 bucks. Simple. But the second it rolls over onto a balance, suddenly its true cost is the dinner, plus the time it's just sitting there, plus all the interest it's gathering along the way. And this is such a crucial shift in how you think about it. Once you're carrying a balance, you're not just buying a thing anymore. You're also buying the cost of carrying that thing with you, month after month. That's the hidden layer that makes everything so much more expensive. And you know what makes all of this so easy to fall into? It's a psychological trick built right into the system. Swiping a card completely separates the fun of buying something from the pain of actually paying for it. You get the great feeling right now, but the financial weight doesn't hit you until weeks later. That delay makes it incredibly easy to underestimate what's really happening. Okay, this leads us to probably one of the biggest, most misunderstood parts of the whole system, the minimum payment trap. And man, it creates such a powerful illusion of progress. We're all kind of conditioned to think that making the minimum payment is the responsible thing to do, right? But what if we saw it differently? What if we saw it as just a tool to keep your account in good standing while keeping the actual debt alive and well? This is it right here. The whole system is designed to make your progress feel incredibly slow. It's just enough to stop you from freaking out, but nowhere near enough to actually get ahead. It's why people can make payments for years and feel like that balance just never ever shrinks. So let's talk about the turning point, that exact moment when a credit card goes from being a handy tool to a trap that just starts piling new debt on top of the old stuff. And it happens so fast, it's almost sneaky. Step 1, you just use your card for normal life stuff in month 1. Step 2, you can't quite pay it all off, so a balance carries over. Step 3, well, life keeps happening, so you add more spending for month 2 right on top of that old balance. And what's the result? You're now paying for today's life, plus the interest and the cost of yesterday's life. This layering, this is what creates what you could call financial drag. It's that heavy feeling of being constantly pulled back by what you bought last month or even last year. It's why so many incredibly smart, hardworking people feel like they're just stuck on a treadmill. Here's another really subtle trap. Looking at your available credit and thinking it's extra money. It's so not. It's just borrowed a breathing room. Honestly, just thinking of it as future money that's already spent is a total game changer. Okay, so we've laid out the problem, we've seen how the trap works. Now, for the most important part. How in the world do you break the pattern and get back in control? All right, here are 5 very real strategies you can use. First off, stop brushing off those small, repeated charges. Really look at them. Second, don't let that minimum payment be your measure of success. Success is the principal balance going down. Third, get really honest with yourself. Is this a genuine emergency or is it just for convenience? Fourth, and this is a big one, create some friction. Just pause before you swipe. And last but not least, please remember, this is a behavior thing. It's not just a math problem. So if you want a tool to create that friction, Here it is. It's just one simple question to ask yourself before you swipe. Am I solving today's problem by making next month heavier? Just pausing to ask that can change everything. And that really gets to the core of it all, doesn't it? Real financial peace, it doesn't come from having a huge credit limit so you can swipe whenever you want. It comes from building a life where you don't need to borrow from your future self just to feel secure today. That's true freedom. Look, if any of this feels familiar, if it hits a little too close to home, please know this isn't about you failing. It's about dealing with a system that's literally designed to hide these long-term costs. So this whole conversation, it's not about guilt at all. It's about awareness. Because awareness, that's where your power comes from. It's what gives you the power to finally change the pattern.